Hey guys, a very warm welcome to this session of Water Resources. I'm Ankana, your master teacher for social sciences at Vedanta, hoping all of you are doing absolutely fine. Come on, let's quickly get started by discussing the answer to the previous session's question, which is A. Increase in urbanization, and the people who have answered the fastest are Shruti Agarwal, Godrej Khalpara, Siliguri and Shreya Verma. My heartiest congratulations to my dear students. Everyone else, public, you know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put your answers in the chat box, not just in the live chat. Please remember that, guys. At the same time, also remember to put your doubts in the comment section, because that is where we pick your doubts from for the doubt and mentee session. I keep on repeating this, but I still miss on the doubts, which is sad, and I don't want to do that. Okay, chalo, so let's get started today, guys. Today we're gonna get started with introduction to water resources, what they are, what are different reasons because of which we need to conserve water, and we will finish on rainwater harvesting. Yeah, so guys, you know India is very diverse, right? We know India is very diverse in general, in terms of all the resources, in the terms of culture, in the terms of the relief that we have, the physical and geographical features that we have. So it is also very rich in different natural resources, just like water. But water becomes very important. Can you imagine your life without water, guys? Can you? I mean, like, I can live without electricity for once. I mean, it's not a natural resource, but I'm just saying the different essential things that we use on a daily basis. But I cannot imagine my life without water. Once I feel thirsty, I really am gonna die if I don't drink water. So that becomes very important. It is very important for the survival of all the living organisms, not just human beings, animals, plants, all of those, right? And that is why we have to store these waters, right? Why? So what happens, the water that we actually use doesn't directly come from rivers, doesn't directly come from seas and oceans. So we have to store it in the reservoirs that we build, from where the water is supplied to the villages and to the cities. But the problem is that the population is exploding. The population is increasing, and in order to meet the demands of these increasing population, we have to increase we have to also increase our supply. Now, India is the home for 16% of the total population on the earth, right? And with that, it has only 4% of the water available as the resources on earth. Now imagine 16 is to 4 is 1 is to 4, which means it is very less. For each 1 unit of water, there are 4 people to consume it, and that's a difficult number. And we occupy around 2.45% of the world's surface area, which means the land mass is somewhere more. Now, if you talk about sources of water, guys, there are 3 kinds of main sources of water. But what do we exactly mean by water resources? See, when water naturally occurs, okay, when it is naturally occurring, but at the same time it has the potential, it is usable for the purpose of living organisms, for the needs of living organisms, of living beings, of human beings, plants and animals, then that is known as a natural water resource, which is of 3 kinds: surface water, groundwater, and lagoons and backwaters. And we're going to talk about the surface water today. But your surface water is actually the result of the rainfall, the precipitation that happens, or it could be because of the seepage from underground water of the streams, of the streams or rivers. That could also be it. So what happens, that it could actually come and later join these seas eventually. That is also something the groundwater does. So we know that rainfall is the major resource, major source of this kind of water body, water resource. Around 4,000 kilometer cube of water is what is there in the form of surface water, right? So it is there on the surface, right? So you have seen rivers, we have seen streams. All of these are examples of surface water. If we talk about different kinds of surface water, rivers is what comes to my mind. And in India, we have 2 kinds of rivers, which you already are familiar with. We have the perennial or the Himalayan rivers, and we have the peninsular or the non-perennial rivers. Now both become very important. It's just that the perennial rivers are actually snow-fed, and that is why they have good amount of water the entire year. However, the peninsular rivers are kind of they have little or no water at all during the dry season, and are more dependent on what guys? On the rainfall. Exactly. So monsoon becomes very, very important over here. We have already seen in the climate chapter. Now, the Ganga Brahmaputra system, right? The Ganga Brahmaputra Meghna system, and this system is the biggest with the catchment area of about 110 million hectares. Catchment means where the water gets stored. So that is about the surface water. What do we mean by groundwater? Bacha, the water that comes from rain, from snow, all of these water comes and seeps into the soil. The soil absorbs it and sends it a little lower, right? Now some of this water evaporates, but some of this water seeps in through the soil, and this is the water that is known as the groundwater, which seeps in through the cracks and the crevices of the ground. Now what are the certain features of this groundwater? But your groundwater becomes very, very essential. It accounts for around 400 kilometer cube of water, and in fact a huge 0.66 percentage of the water that we have over here is usable, which is out of the groundwater. Now the thing is that this distribution of water is not really uniform everywhere. It is somewhere less, it is somewhere more, and that is what somewhere is also concerning us. But at the same time, it's not like if the water has seeped in through the soil, it's going to stay there forever and ever. A lot of time it just flows away and reaches out to the sea. So its presence varies greatly from different physical features depending upon the topography, upon the geology, upon the features, and it is one of the most important resources. Most of the uses of the usage of the demands and the needs of the human beings and the people in India is met by the groundwater only. Now it can exist anywhere. It can exist in deep aquifers as well as near the surface. Now what do we mean by this? What do we mean by aquifers? But your aquifers in your book says underground stream, right, that is saturated with water and transmits readily. Now this is a complicated definition. I will simply explain to you. See what happens when the water is received on the surface. It seeps in through what? It seeps in through the cracks and passes the gravel, passes the soil, all of those layers. Then comes the porous rocks, right? So it also passes through that porous rocks, and then there are the non-porous rocks. So between the porous rocks and the non-porous rocks is where this water table takes place, occurs and gets stored. Now this system where the water is stored and is from where it is readily available is known as aquifers. So these are, because it goes very deep down, it is known as deep aquifers. But if it is on the surface, then we know it as surface water. Simple as that. Now, where are these groundwaters available? Bacha, it is available everywhere, be it in the plains, in the low areas, everywhere. And of course, the coastal region, if you talk about, are rich in groundwater. Why? Simple explanation, Bacha. There is more water around there. So naturally, the seepage of the water, right, the flow of the water, the infiltration of the water will happen more. If we talk about the soil, the alluvial soil, which is also very fertile and has more retention of water, in the northern plains, in the Gangetic plain, in the Indo-Gangetic plain, it has a very good potential. It is very, very rich in the sense of extracting the groundwater, because it will naturally absorb more groundwater. It will absorb more water, so it will send more water to the ground, right? Now groundwater becomes very essential because it is very, very safe, right? And the quality of the water, of this particular water in most of the area, is pretty good, and that is why it is safe. The quality is really good and it becomes very, very safe for the consumption of the water for eating and drinking purposes. So that is another important need of this water. And also because it is so safe, it is so good, and it has become a proper alternative for the usage of irrigation and also for domestic purposes because of its quality and of course somewhere quantity also in terms of usable water. Now, Bacha, what do we mean by why do we need to conserve water? So we know that 77% of the earth is covered in water, but still we have shortage of water. Why? Because all of this water is not usable for human beings. See, we are saying water resources are the waters which can be used for us, for our purposes. All of this water is, but you cannot drink the entire water. You have to always remember, as humans we can only use water which is not really so saline in nature, which most of the oceanic and seas water is. So we have to also remember that although we receive 4% of the total precipitation, we still suffer from water scarcity. Why is that? Bacha, the water, the precipitation, the rainfall in India happens for a very short period of time, right? And it happens at a very high, in a very high intensity. So more water is received, but it is received only for a short duration. As a result of this, what will happen? As a result of this, the water that is seeping in through the ground will not have enough time to get stored in the groundwater. It will not have enough time to recharge the groundwater, and most of it will get flown away and maybe go join the river or the seas, but the groundwater table is not well recharged, which causes shortage of water even in the areas of Cherrapunji, which receives more than 1100 centimeter of rainfall per year, which is the highest precipitated ground on the entire world. So that is something which is very, very ironical, and we have to understand why is that happening, right? At the same time, people are not understanding the importance of water. The way they are using it, it is not exactly using it, is called exploitation. We are not using water properly, polluting the water, using it in excessive, also the distribution of water is not even everywhere. So understanding whether the water available in my area, in my place, in my city is enough or not, should I be using it with proper, should I be using it judiciously or not, these are few understandings that humans have lost. At the same time, whatever we have, we are not respecting it, we are overusing it. See, first of all, population is already increasing. On top of it, each person, the amount of water that they should be consuming, they're consuming way more than that for the purposes of household chores, for the purposes of industrial usage, for the purposes of irrigation, and also on the top of it, polluting it with the chemicals, with the pesticides, with the fertilizers, making it unfit for the usage of further usage, right? As a result of this, the water is turning poisonous, it is turning hazardous and unusable for our consumption. In fact, the increased population has led to the decline of the groundwater level. The water is being consumed so much because of the over usage, the water level is declining, and that is what is causing shortage. And whatever we have with urbanization, with increasing irrigation, with industrialization, we are definitely overusing it. We are creating more and more pressure because the amount is decreasing, but the use is not decreasing. We just keep taking out of it on and on. But whatever is left, we are actually polluting it on top of that for various purposes, right? For various reasons, by throwing out the waste from different industries. Now that is the reason why we have to understand that we have to reduce our usage of water. We have to reduce the amount of water that we are wasting. We have to conserve the water, whatever is left. Why? Because rainfall these days is also there's also a shortage of rainfall. And why is this happening? Because we are cutting down all the trees which would have further circulated the rain cycle. We are losing vegetation, constantly creating droughts, creating reduction in rainfall. So there's no other source to receive. The precipitation is also decreasing. That is another problem. And on top of that, we are also increasing the toxicity of the water, which is actually drinkable and possible to use for domestic purposes. So what do we need to do? We need to reduce the per capita consumption of water. Per person consumption of water that is happening needs to be reduced. It doesn't mean that you need to stop drinking water. Consume the amount of water that you need for your basic purposes, but do not waste it. Do not leave the tap open. A lot of time what happens, I can take shower, I can actually bathe using a bucket and a mug, which will actually cause way less consumption of water, but I would use a shower. And it's not just me, it's a lot of people, right? We use shower, we use hand showers, we use bathtubs, swimming pools, wastage of water. Sometimes a lot of us, what do? While we are brushing our teeth, we'll leave the tap open. When you're going to wash your hands, before you have taken the soap, you'll just open the tap. So even if you're wasting 2 minutes of water from the running the running water from the taps every day, it is still going to cause that problem, right? Because imagine 2 minutes every day will make so many minutes in a year and so many minutes in your entire lifetime. So we have to understand how to effectively use this water, because the amount at which this is declining, the amount of water resources which is usable for us is declining, is very, very concerning, is very, very alarming. In fact, by 2025, people are saying that most of the parts of Indian country is going to have a great shortage of water, guys. Bangalore has already started, Delhi has already started, Maharashtra has already started. It's a dry state. It's like it's turning really dry, and that is why they're causing a lot of problems over there. So we will become will absolutely be in water scarcity if we do not mend our ways, and that makes it very, very important for us to conserve the existing water resources, that whatever is left. Now, how can we conserve this? Bachao, what do we mean by conservation? First of all, see, simple. Preventing and controlling the wastage of water, right? Preventing and controlling the depletion and degradation of the water and its resources, making the best use of whatever we have, being effective, being judicious. Basically, conserve means to save. So save water. Save water by not overusing it, save water by not degrading it, save water by not polluting it. All of this is known as conservation of water. Now, there are different methods, right? We can actually have various technologies. We have so many technologies these days. We can have proper technologies to save water. We can prevent the water from getting polluted. A lot of water is getting polluted. If we stop polluting that water, obviously that is some extra amount of water that I have left for my use. And then, of course, using options, using methods, mechanisms like watershed development, rainwater harvesting, recycling the water, and reusing the water, right? Guys, the water which has already been used may not be safe for drinking, but it is safe for so many other purposes, for planting the tree, for watering the trees and plants, for irrigation purposes. Maybe if it's not absolutely toxic, it can definitely be used for your flush tanks, for washing the floors and all outside the houses. All of these things can be used by doing, can be served. All of these purposes can be served by using the pre-used water, which means reusing that water, right? And it can also be recycled. Now, how do we do rainwater harvesting? What do we mean by it? Bacha, it's basically whenever precipitation happens, what happens? I'm telling you, India receives a huge amount of precipitation compared to the entire world, right? One of the largest. So where's all of this water going? So because we understand that all of this water is not having enough time to get seeped into the groundwater level, it flows and goes, ultimately joins some rivers, seas, and it's not very useful for us. We need to store this. Wherever it is evaporating, wherever it is vanishing, disappearing, we need to store this. We need to collect this rainwater so that we can directly use it, or maybe we can use it to recharge the underground water table. So this process, bacha, is known as the rainwater harvesting. We are going to harvest the rainwater, the water received by precipitation. So rainfall in India, we know, occurs in short spells, and I told you, so this is the reason which actually makes us understand that despite of having all of this rainfall, it's so not useful for us. It's not useful for us in a great manner. We need to harvest it. So what do? We understand that it will increase. What is its importance? How is it going to help us? So we know that we have a long summer season. At that time is the water shortage which happens the maximum. If you already have water stored, you don't have to worry. At least some part of the summer you will easily survive. So it will help us get through these dry summer days. At the same time, the underground water is very, very dependent on the rainfall. And it is depleting, it is declining with the increase in the population, with the increase in the demand of the water usage. So it will reduce our dependence on that, which means it will decrease the amount of pressure that we are putting on this. Of course, it will also improve. We are storing safe water, which is safe for drinking, which is safe for domestic purposes. So it will also, we have to know that it will also improve the quality of groundwater by diluting its salinity. So the saline nature of it will reduce, which will make it more consumable, which will make it improve its quality further. Of course, it is very, very, guys, the few advantages is very constant. Okay, it's very cost effective. It's not like we have to spend a lot of money in order to do this. It is going to reduce the soil erosion, right? It is going to improve the soil moisture. It is only going to increase and upgrade the quality of the soil, upgrade the quality and the quantity of the groundwater. It is not going to pollute. This is, all of this process is not causing any kind of pollution. In fact, it is even environmental friendly. It is eco-friendly and helping the environment and helping the human beings, and it is going to help us till the next rainfall if done properly. Now, how can rainwater harvesting be done? By one, let's see, one is normal rainwater harvesting, the other is by recharging the groundwater level. But you see, normal rainwater harvesting goes way back. It's not like we have just started doing. People earlier were in the earlier civilizations were actually more smarter than us. We now may not be doing it, but in ancient traditions of India, it has always been there as early as 4500 BC, before Christ. 4500 BC it was already there. People of Thar desert and Rajasthan, where there was already shortage of water, they used to harvest the rainwater, so we should be learning from them. And till now, all of these traditional methods are still used for harvesting the rainwater. Example, Rajasthan Johads, which is the earthen dams, the dams made up of soil. Kunds, which are the covered underground tanks, as you can see in the picture. Also in Andhra Pradesh, there is Sheruva, which is the reservoirs. In Assam, we have dongs. In Karnataka, we have Kere, which is tanks. These are some traditional methods of conserving, of doing rainwater harvest, basically reserving it. Okay. Now, what are the new concepts? The new concept basically says we store water and then send it, kind of recharge the groundwater with it. Now, where do you put all of these water? Where do you store it? So sometimes you store it in a pit, okay, which will actually recharge the shallow aquifers. But I have already explained aquifers to you. We understand deep aquifers. But then when it is not very deep, for the deep one, we need proper good amount of rain, good amount of, huge amount of water. So maybe not at a very deep level, but at a shallow level, we can through the pits easily recharge these. Then trenches. Trenches are the grounds dug, right? So it is constructed. The hole is constructed at a shallow depth where the water further gets stored. Then of course wells. Wells, when you have, it will naturally act as a catchment and it will receive all the water. So water is carried with the help of drain pipes to a filtration tank. As you can see in the picture over here, it is being carried over here from the rooftop. So a lot of rain is received over here, guys. From here, a pipe will collect all of it and put it into this well that has been dug, and that is the water that is collected from the rooftop, diverted here, and can be used further with the help of the pipes, and it gets filtrated as well, and that is why it becomes very, very useful and is absolutely safe. Then the fourth one is hand pumps. The existing hand pumps is used for recharging the shallow and deep aquifers. Now with that, we are done with today's session, guys. Let's quickly look at your homework question. But before that, let me quickly remind you about Vedantu Pro subscription. Bacha, you know that with the subscription, you will get all your problems solved. The life is going to be super, super easy for you as a student. You will have your own choices of attending the classes. You will have your own choices of schedule. You can choose whatever language you want to learn, and you can choose, whatever you want. All the sessions are going to be live. It's going to be unlimited. You're going to have access to all the micro sessions, all the crash courses. And all of this is coming at a great discount price of 20%, right? You're going to get a discount of 20%, and you just have to use the code AKEPRO. And where do you have to use the code? Bacha, the link is given in the description box, or it is also pinned in the comment section. Go on that link, follow the steps of choosing your grade, boards, check out all the details that's there, and use this code. Whichever subscription you decide to take, Bacha, please use this code. This will give you the access to the discounts. And here is your question. India is the home of what percentage of the population? 10, 16, 15 or 20? And with that, we have come to the end of the session. Do not forget to like the video. Guys, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because that's how you will get notification for the next session, right? And of course, do tell me in the comment section how did you like the session, and do not forget to post your doubts so that I can pick it up in the doubt and the mentee session. Now guys, I will see you in the next session. Till then, take good care of yourself, my dear bacha log, and I will see you soon. Stay home, stay safe, have a great evening. Bye.